Hi everyone, my name is Sandhya, and today I'll be presenting a systematic review on the neural correlates of sexual minority stress. So minority stress refers to the excess stress and discrimination that folks face due to their stigmatized identity. So this can be anything from one's sexual orientation, gender identity, race, and or ethnicity. So the minority stress theory posits that sexual minorities experience these uncontrollable chronic stressors that are related to their stigmatized identity. So there are two types of stressors, distal minority stressors, which include things like discrimination, violence, hate crimes, and microaggressions, or everyday dignities. And the second being proximal minority stressors, which includes things like internalized homonegativity, internalized stigma, rejection sensitivity, and sexual orientation concealment. So it is known that increased exposure to these minority stressors can often contribute to these compromised mental health outcomes seen in sexual minorities. So then, in order for us to truly understand how and why sexual minorities are often disproportionately affected by these mental health burdens, we must understand and elucidate the neurobiological basis of minority stress. And that's exactly what we aim to do here by conducting the systematic review. So here we followed PRISMA guidelines and used the search terms using the AND operator, including sexual orientation, sexual minority status, and neural correlates. And it is important to note that we did take an overly inclusive approach while coding the data because of the nascent stage of the field. Now, interestingly, our results revealed several gaps in the minority stress field, where the neuroimaging studies included in our review were highly confounded. Unfortunately, studies reporting unique patterns in the brain among sexual minorities have largely attributed these findings to the neurobiological basis of sexual orientation exclusively. In fact, 12 out of the 13 studies that we had reviewed did not measure levels of minority stress. As well, intersectionality was not considered, and of course, different intersecting identities can contribute to unique minority stress experiences. So this represents a critical paradigm shift in the field where capturing the intersectionality of minority stress will allow us to characterize how the brain changes in response to the stressful experiences, and in turn, how this might influence mental health. So here I've actually listed a few studies that are worth noting, but the main takeaway here is that several alterations in neural patterns that are found among sexual minorities in comparison to heterosexuals are often what we see in PTSD populations, specifically in the default mode network, the salience network, and the central executive network. So for example, the salience network is responsible for detecting and responding to behaviorally salient stimuli. And so a study that I've listed here, Savick and Lindstrom, one of the 13 studies that we reviewed, found altered resting state amygdala functional connectivity among sexual minorities in comparison to heterosexuals. And these neuroimaging findings are very interesting because they're similar to what we see in PTSD populations, as the salience network has been shown to be both hyperactive and dysregulated in PTSD populations. So again, the main takeaway is that these results are pointing towards these overlapping neuropsychological pathways that are seen in PTSD and minority stress. And our results support the expansion of PTSD models to include insidious forms of trauma related to minority stress. Now, we have included our minority mosaic framework, which is designed to inform the future directions in the minority stress field. Uncovering the effect that minority stress has on the brain will help us to promote change, to foster resiliency, and to help those who have been psychologically injured by these experiences. Thank you so much for your time, and I'd be very happy to take any questions that you might have.